Should Christians care about what Christians who are governors, senators, judges, and presidents do? Should we hold them accountable to the Christian belief, even though they are serving in a position that is for more than just the Christian? Here's my thoughts coming right up. Hey, how you doing, man? Leonard Tanks of Apologetics for you. And man, I just wanted to get on here to share my thoughts on the conversation that I've heard it said, you've heard it said by some believers who would hold that when other believers try to hold believers that are in governmental roles accountable to Christian beliefs, that we shouldn't be doing that. That they're not there as a Christian, they're there as a senator or a judge or a president. And so we shouldn't be holding them to Christian values and beliefs because they're not there to represent the Christian view, but all people. And so I want to speak into that as I was reading Matthew 14 today, around the situation of John the Baptist. And you may be familiar with that story where John the Baptist was speaking about Herod's marriage to Herodias, and he was calling it unlawful. And so the Bible tells us in John 14 that Herod, verse 3, had seized John and bound him and put him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because John had been saying to him, "It is not lawful for you to have her." And so if you continue to read that story, that led to John the Baptist essentially being beheaded. But does that make sense? Because John the Baptist was challenging Herod the Tetrarch, which just means he was the governor. He was the governor of a Roman province, but he was a Jewish man. And so John, speaking to this governor who was Jewish, is speaking against the conduct of this Jewish governor based upon Jewish law, and he calls his marriage unlawful. Well, why was his marriage unlawful? Well, if you know anything about Herod, he was originally married to Herodias, and he divorced her. And we don't have any reason for why he divorced her. So it appears that he divorced her for no lawful reason according to Jewish law, depending on which camp you hold. Right. But bigger than that, we also read that the Bible tells us that he remarried Herodias, who was his brother Philip's wife. Now, if you're familiar with the Old Testament, Leviticus 18:16 prohibits a brother uncovering the nakedness of his brother's wife. In other words, it was sinful, it was unlawful for a brother to marry and sleep with his brother's wife. And this is exactly what Herod had done. And so John is speaking against that, and he's saying that marriage is unlawful. And he's doing it in a public manner in enough way that it calls for him to be beheaded. And so if I'm reading that, I'm concluding that regardless of the position a person may hold in a secular world, that the believer still should be holding that person accountable to the belief system that they ascribe to. Herod was a Jewish man. John was holding him to Jewish law. And so if we have Christian judges and Christian presidents and Christian senators, we as the church should be holding them accountable to Christian belief based upon our only rule and practice, which is the Bible. And when they are passing things, speaking things, and living in opposition to that, I believe that it is the responsibility of the church to speak into that, regardless of the fact that they are in a position of senator, governor, president, judge, from a secular position or from a county standpoint or a national standpoint. They should still be held accountable to the book if they are confessing and professing to be Christian. And so those are my thoughts. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree, but I would love to hear what you think about that. So drop a comment, share, subscribe, as I'll be giving more of these 5-minute briefs on just things that I think about while I'm reading. Hey, take care and thank you for watching. This is Leonard from Apologetics for You.